So what is the first rule of Fight Club?
You don't talk about it.
Okay, but what if it's a robotic Fight Club?
You still don't talk about it, but it's like, you don't talk about Fight Club.
No, not like that. No, you actually post it on social media.
Oh, you do talk about it.
That's what it is. So there's a viral video that's going out. It's two humanoid robots that are boxing while a human referees.
Those are little guys.
They are little tiny. How tall do you think they are? 3 feet?
Yeah, I was going to say almost 4,
Something
probably.
like one bot is from Engine AI. It's built for, they say, logistics and factories. And the other one is from Unitree. That's that little guy that can jump stairs and cruise like at about 5 miles per hour. So the whole idea is like, they're going to call them battle bots.
I'm watching the video right now. Not one of them has landed a punch. Like Robot A walks past Robot B, and then Robot B just punches in the air 3 times and misses.
Well, they're going to be selling these robots. That's the whole idea.
Oh, sign me up.
Yeah,
We're going to be the first one.
And so that's why it's kind of like a little publicity stunt. But remember this. I mean, 19 and 20 had a fight. 21.
Oh, now we have sound effects. Great.
And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Kim Komando Show. It's the nation's largest, biggest, best, award-winning show about all things digital. And if you're joining us on YouTube, ta-da!
The new set is done.
It is. And for the occasion, I actually knitted my outfit.
It does look homemade.
It's nice.
How long did that take you?
Forever.
I had no idea you could crochet like that.
No, actually, I bought it. It was the tag that's kind of hard to put on.
That thing looks like it was made out of 112 doilies.
You know what? You be quiet.
All right.
You just don't know style. I mean,
I
look at you.
absolutely don't.
I mean, look what you got on. A blue shirt, blue shorts.
Yeah, right.
The shoes are disgusting.
I didn't even know you were going to be on the new set, so I'm wearing my gym shoes.
Okay, you need to wash them.
You don't wash shoes. They're gym shoes. They get all sweaty and gross.
That's exactly why you should wash them. I don't even, ooh.
Do you put your shoes in the washer and dryer?
Not in the dryer, in the washer.
You put them in the washer. Clang, 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 clang.
No, actually, there's a little shelf that goes in the washer, and you put your shoes on the shelf.
I'm not doing that.
Why?
I'm just going to have dirty shoes.
They look gross.
Oh, they're awful. They're absolutely
disgusting.
awful. Can I show the camera? No,
No,
camera
we don't
can't
want to
pick them
see
up.
that. We don't want to see that. I mean, I'd rather have you wear those disgusting Hey Dudes than those ugly things.
Those all fell apart.
They were junk.
You can't wash those. You can't even breathe on those.
And in case you're wondering who's joining me, that's Andrew Babinski.
Hi.
Yes, with the dirty shoes. And you can find us on over 430 top stations from coast to coast. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast wherever you get your podcast. But yes, we are on now the new set at youtube.com/Kim Komando, youtube.com/Kim Komando.
Go watch the video. Go see what the new set looks like. And while you're there, subscribe. We have over 100,000 subscribers. We're trying to build it. Now we got the new set, so we're going to be doing
Close to 130,000 now.
That's ridiculous. That's awesome.
Yes.
And we're going to add more content, so go and subscribe.
And just so you know, I did not make my outfit.
You didn't? Who made it?
A Zagdig and something like that. I'm not really sure what the brand is.
The more you can't pronounce it, the fancier it is.
It was pretty fancy by the price, just saying. I'd like to thank Consumer Cellular for helping to make this show possible. Let me guess, you've seen the news or your phone has already told you this when you looked at the bills. Big Wireless is raising all their rates again. Same service, higher price, and somehow you end up with a plan that you don't even need. That's why I switched to Consumer Cellular. That's the carrier ranked #1 in customer satisfaction. Here's the deal. They use the same towers as the big carriers, so you're not sacrificing quality to pay less. And when you call Consumer Cellular, this is amazing. You don't get pushed to a bot or say, hey, just use the app. We can help you there. You actually speak to a real person. That's right, someone knowledgeable here in the United States. No scripts, no bots, and you don't pay extra to get help. You know, some carriers actually do that. If you have a question, they're going to charge you extra money for that. Oh my gosh. So whether you make the switch online, over the phone, or one of their stores, you always get to work with a real person. So join the millions who've made the switch to Consumer Cellular. Now, for a limited time, of course, there's a deal. If you're a Kim Komando Show listener or viewer, you actually get the second month free. No hidden fees, no long-term contracts. And if you're over 50, you can get a single line with unlimited talk, text, and data for only $35 a month. Now, that's a deal. If you haven't looked at your bill lately, now's the time. Go to consumercellular.com/Kim. That's consumercellular.com/Kim. You know, every single day, I just read everything I can to make sure that I know exactly what's happening in the tech space. I actually speak to some of my friends who are hackers.
Ooh.
Yes, not only the good kind, the bad kind.
You got the bad kind? Mm-hmm. Could they hack an air conditioning company and make them go out of business for me? Oh, boy.
We'll worry about that in another time.
Thank you.
Okay. But let's talk about some things that you need to know about. So the first thing is, let me ask you a question. If you had a choice within 2 miles of your home to have a nuclear power plant built or an AI data center, which would you select?
Well, obviously, you want me to pick the data center because a nuclear power plant is like scary and daunting and overwhelming. But when I pick the data center, then you're going to be like, ha ha, dummy. They're going to suck up all your power and all your water, and you're going to be homeless.
It's going to be noisy and everything like that. Well, more Americans will select, you ready? The nuclear power plant.
Yeah, that's what
that's what they're saying. And because of that, now there's all this lobbying going on to say, like, these AI data centers, they're okay.
Oh, are they?
They're going to be fine. They just suck up a lot of water, but we've got a lot of water.
And power. They use a lot of power, too.
Well, because of the power, guess what's the new hot commodity?
Solar panels?
Electricians.
Oh.
Yes. You know what the average starting salary now for an electrician to work in an AI data center?
I'm going to guess 85 to 90,000.
Higher.
Higher than that?
Yes.
We're talking six figures?
Yes.
How much?
Over $200,000 a year.
I got in the wrong business.
$260,000 a year are some of these offers.
Wow, that's crazy.
Come do that.
Good for the electricians.
Meanwhile, Gen Zers, they have something that they're calling blue collar careers.
Okay.
Because they're saying, like, because of AI, we're not going to have any jobs.
I told you that story. A good friend of ours, she has a high school senior, and he was debating on which college he wanted to go to. And then he went to her and said, Mom, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to go to trade school to become an electrician, actually. And she started crying.
Oh, did she?
Because she was like, oh my gosh, you're going to be okay. You're going to learn a trade.
Oh, she was happy.
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember you telling me this story.
Yeah. She said, you're going to be okay because I know that that's going to be needed forever and your job's not going to be replaced and you're not going to be homeless.
Well, the new nickname for Gen Zers are the tool belt generation.
Okay.
That's what they're called.
Because they're forced to put on a tool belt because all the other jobs are going to be gone?
Well, because of the AI revolution, they needed to have something that was more current. You didn't even expect that.
Well, it's a double because it's the name of the newsletter. And
that's true.
It's an electrician joke.
At the same time. All right, let's talk about something that's near and dear to your heart, because you've always said that if AI gets out of whack,
right,
that we can just pull the plug.
Just pull it.
Well,
pull
that's not going to happen anywhere. Scientists told 2 AI models to find weak spots in a network and copy themselves onto another machine. And 9 out of 10 times it did it.
So then we just pull 2 plugs. Done. Problem solved.
Well, the problem is that The Guardian also reported about something that was a first outside of a lab environment, is that if AI goes rogue and someone tries to pull the plug, is that it's already has replicated itself like halfway around the globe.
But why do we program into it wanting to survive? We should have programmed into it, hey, we're going to kill you. And AI is like, okay, cool. Peace. I'm out of here.
No, that's not how it works.
It's not, because we got weird people with all the power making these things that have never seen the movie Terminator 2.
As Scooby-Doo used to say, ruh-roh. Oh, my gosh. So Instagram and Meta, they made a change this past week very quietly. They didn't even issue a press release. And you know about end-to-end encryption?
Obviously, but you can explain it to everybody else.
It's that when you look at something on your phone or on a social media app or whatever, and if it's end-to-end encrypted like a VPN, is that nobody can jump in the middle and see it.
Okay.
And so Instagram, excuse me, made these changes this past week where they got rid of the end-to-end encryption.
Aren't they opening themselves up to being hacked? They're making themselves more vulnerable?
Well, what that means is that Meta can see every single thing that you do on your direct messages.
They couldn't before?
No, because it was encrypted.
Oh.
But now it's unencrypted. And so people are saying, like, so there's all these conspiracy theories that are going out, like, wait, why would they do such a thing? And then some people are saying, well, now they can turn things over to law enforcement.
Okay.
Because if it wasn't encrypted, then you can get to it.
But they also can learn more about you, so they can sell more data points about you.
Exactly.
It always comes back to the money.
You never do this in a photo anywhere.
Yeah, I saw this story. This was crazy. And by this, for the radio listeners,
peace sign.
She's doing the peace sign. Mm-hmm. You just did it to a camera, actually to 4 cameras. So when you said never do this, you weren't talking about yourself?
No, just don't do that. Well, you can't do it because your fingerprints, right?
Right. They can, with up to 10 feet away, a selfie or a picture up to 10 feet away, they can use AI to take the picture of your fingers and copy and replicate your fingerprint, which then can be used in biometrics.
Oh my gosh.
And get past, lines of security that they weren't able to get past before, just by a picture online.
So now you can't do that anymore.
No, and you can't do it backwards either, because a peace sign backwards is just like giving up the middle finger in the UK. So just keep your fingers to yourself.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So instead of giving someone the middle finger, you just do the peace sign backwards.
I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I did that last time I was in London and people looked at me strange.
That's now connecting the dots. We now know why you're not liked abroad.
They love me in the UK.
Not when you're flipping them off all day.
I didn't know that. I did not know that at all. Okay, so you go into an Airbnb or a Vrbo and you have a great stay. Mm-hmm. And no matter what you look at, you're always going to have a cleaning fee. Like I rented a place for some family members over the summer, and the cleaning fee is like $500.
That's not included in the bill?
No, you have to pay extra for that.
Ridiculous. Everything's an add-on.
So now there's a thread that's going viral on Reddit right now that is about this woman who got a 4-page requirement on how to clean the place after they left. 4 pages.
The cleaning crew or the guest?
The guest.
Okay.
So it included things like strip the beds.
Okay, that's pretty standard.
Run the dishwasher.
Fair.
Take out the trash.
All right.
Do the windows.
Do the windows?
Vacuum.
No.
Clean all the sheets.
I'm not doing that.
And then still pay the cleaning fee. Oh
I just did all the cleaning. I paid the cleaning fee with sweat equity.
Oh, so would you actually do all this stuff?
No, this just sounds like someone, and a lot of people on Airbnb, they're just trying to get you so they can double charge you or fine you. It just sounds like fine print that they know no one's going to pay attention to, so they can tack on another $200 charge.
Well, I don't know. The guests' hands are tied.
Oh, God. That was awful.
That was not awful. That was one of the better ones, I will tell you.
I don't know if there's a lawyer listening. I don't even think that can legally be called a joke. I think we may get sued if we said that's one of your dad jokes.
You know what? At least my shoes are always clean.
They're filthy, my shoes.
They're
I didn't know we would be sitting here.
Have you ever Googled yourself? You type your name into ChatGPT or any other AI bot, and you should see what comes back right now. And it's going to frighten you. Your phone number, your home address, and that's just the surface. As a matter of fact, there's a whole story out right now that if you want to find somebody's phone number, you can actually put that into Google, and it may appear under AI overviews because Google's AI has scraped everything on the internet. And if you dig a little deeper, anyone can find your social security number, your health records, your financial history. You see, data brokers collect and sell your personal information, and that fuels something that's called, are you ready for it? It's called a shadow score. And you want to think of it like a secret score on your entire digital life. Companies use it to judge if you're a high-value VIP like me, or a problem customer to be ignored like Andrew. And that's why I use Incogni. It works behind the scenes to track down where your data is exposed, and they submit all these removal requests for your behalf. I have to tell you, Incogni has completed probably over 2,800 now data removals just for me. And they don't stop there. They keep sending these follow-up requests so that this way you get on these data suppression lists. And once you're on that data suppression list, and you're just not allowed to get back on it. I mean, you're not going to be on any other data broker site after that if you are on these special suppression lists. So here's what you need to do. Go to privacykim.com. And again, that's privacykim.com. And then you're going to get 60% off. I use Incogni. I love it. And you will too. All right. Coming up, we have some great AI tips and really some fabulous phone calls on deck that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. So this past week, I asked my AI chatbot, what do you really look like? I'm going to show you the picture. Ever wondered what your AI chatbot looks like?
Never. Not once. It's a computer.
I'm surprised you didn't say a toaster.
It is a toaster. It's just a fancy one that now can, take over the world and kill us all.
You're going to love my picture. All right, let's get started with our phone calls. What do you think? Tim in Helena, Montana, you're up first. Hello there, Tim.
Hello.
So what's going on?
Well, I have been on the fence about something. My son just recently turned 13 on the April 29th, and he's asking me for a webcam.
Oh, okay.
And I'm very uncertain about it.
So what does he need the cam to do?
He claims it's for making YouTube videos.
Now, you use the word claims. This means you don't trust him? You don't believe that's what he wants it for?
He's my kid. No, heck no.
You know what? And Tim, he's thinking back to okay, when I was 13.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, what? So he says just so that he can make videos for YouTube. He wants to be an influencer.
Is he a game streamer?
He's a gamer. He loves playing video games. He plays a lot of Roblox. I've had to kind of jump in on his Roblox before to kind of make sure he's, not talking to the wrong people and all that. But being at the age of 13, a webcam just feels.
Well, it does, because you're just bringing the entire internet at that point into your house, unless you lock it down.
Exactly. And it's not only into your house, it's a close-up shot of your child at any time.
Yeah, and that can lead to a whole bunch of bad stuff. I guess if you're hesitant, I would say no. I mean, if you have any reason for not to do it, then I would hold off. I mean, especially if the computer's in the kid's bedroom.
Well, this harkens me back to when I was a kid and we first got the internet, and my parents were paranoid about the things that were happening online. And when they went to bed, they just took the power cord and they took it with them to bed.
Okay, but now you can go on Amazon and pay $5 and you get a new power cord.
Right, but he could take the webcam. Only use it when parents are awake or aware, or when the bedroom door is open, and when you're not using it, you go and set that on mom and dad's side table.
That works for a while.
Well, it works until we get lazy.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we all get lazy.
So,
not to shot at you, Tim. I'm pointing at myself as well.
I was going to say, man, I work like 15-hour days. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
so that ain't going to happen. Okay.
Right.
But so then you're looking at putting on parental controls, which you might want to do anyway. I mean, especially he's 13, you've already had a little couple of incidents with him, and you want to make sure that, he gets to be a self-sustaining adult. Look at something like Bark or Casidio, or even Family Safety on Microsoft.
And you'll be able to see everything that he does, even with the webcam on or off.
Exactly.
So does that help you out, Tim?
A little bit, but the part of that that I was thinking of was when I was growing up, my father had this program. I don't know what it was, but he had it installed on my computer and on his, and he was able to monitor everything on my screen all the time, like real time. He could jump in and take control of my mouse.
Okay, now those programs are pretty much on the way out because of they've been used a lot in domestic violence situations. And they are still available, and they're available on different platforms. And like, for example, they have one that's called M-Spy. And you are truly able to see every single thing that person does in real time. Okay. Do you want to go to that extent? This depends upon you. And there's a lot of reporting, but then there's also the side that, you want the kid to grow up, and you want the kid to grow up, knowing exactly what the boundaries are.
Right.
And so you say, I'm not going to put this on, but the moment that I see something happens, it's going on.
And with the other pieces of software, you'll be able to track where he's been, what he's been doing. That'll be helpful.
Exactly. Tim, thanks for your call today. Hey, listen, I've tried several antivirus products over the years, and when something better comes along, I'm going to tell you, I just switch. WebRoot Essentials keeps all your devices protected without slowing you down. Right now, get 62% off by going to webroot.com/Kim. That's webroot.com/Kim. We have more of the show coming up. Hey, let me tell you, every single time you go online, your internet service provider tracks your every move, and you can protect your privacy like I do by using ExpressVPN. Truly just one click to connect. This thing is awesome. And right now you get up to 4 extra months by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. All right, before we go back to the calls, are you confused about what credit card is the best credit card for you?
No, we just actually did a whole 2-week research.
Wow.
Because Lisa was talking to a friend of hers, and this summer, because of softball, we have 5 trips that we have to go for travel ball. And her friend paid for every single trip, all 5, with miles and points.
Yes.
And she's like, what card do you have? So we looked into it, and I went and I signed up for a Chase Preferred card because you get 75,000 miles and you get 5 times miles on travel.
Okay, but it took you 2 weeks to figure it out.
Well, a lot of research, yeah.
Okay. Well, my point being that if you had gotten our free newsletter about AI, which
I got it.
Obviously you didn't get.
I got it.
Is that I went through a whole series of prompts that you can use that whether you're using, Grok or Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT, whichever one that you prefer. And so it walks you through step by step on how to pick the best credit card for you. So if you had done that, you probably would have had the credit card, selected in probably 5 minutes. But just throwing it out there.
Okay, fine. I'll start reading the newsletter a little closer.
Now, when you do get any type of information like this from your favorite ChatGPT or whatever it is, you want to verify the offer on the issuer site because let me tell you, banks change these offers like toddlers have mood changes. Right. So it's just really out there.
And AI can always just make things up. Oh,
No.
really? I get 1 billion miles if I spend $30 in the first month?
Yes,
Too
love
good to
that.
be true.
Let's see, Jim in New York City. Hello there, Jim.
Hey, Kim, how you doing? Love your jokes. Here's one for you.
Yes.
My first name is Jim, G-Y-M. What's my last name?
Nasium?
Bingo! You've already heard it.
That's not a joke.
I love that joke.
I use it
Gymnasium.
when I order food at a restaurant, and I challenge the worker to read the whole name out loud.
That's your real last name?
No.
Oh, dang. I thought that was going to be awesome.
I know. I was feeling like a little inferior by having a last name Komando.
Yeah, not as cool as Gymnasium.
I know. I always like when people come up to me and it's like, oh, I bet you go Komando. Like I haven't heard that 8,000 times
Never.
already.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
But what I do, Jim,
no,
is
seriously.
when they do that, I look at them, Jim, and I say, you know what? I do, as a matter of fact. And then they're like, oh.
You want proof?
Don't get me started, yeah. Hey, but seriously, I really appreciate your endorsement of Hallow. That really takes courage these days, and we love that app, too.
Yeah, I wrote in another newsletter. I guess you missed this
No,
one, too.
I read this one. I know all about it.
He's such a liar.
Real.
Yes. Is that I wrote about that. I downloaded Hello as just on a whim.
Okay.
Just like something that I would try because I had a meet and greet with Father Mike and so I was doing some research. I thought, well, this is something like an app that I'm really not going to use. And I am Catholic. Okay. And so just thought, well, this would fit my vibe. And so I tried to listen to, say, Bible in a year or whatever when I was working. And I just couldn't do that.
Focus?
No. And then I tried to do it like when I was doing like chores around the house. And I still couldn't really get into it. But I found that when I take the dogs for a walk in the morning, I can put in like a homily or something like that. And I can really like get into it.
Connect to it.
Yes. And so I wrote about this in the newsletter. And then I gave some like 6 other options for other folks. But anyway, so thanks for reading the newsletter, Jim.
Good job, Jim. Suck up.
You're welcome. Hey, now I heard you say a couple weeks ago that a lot of the scam calls, are the same. So I'm hoping I can share what can be done before someone else's loved one is scammed.
Okay.
And maybe how the scam can be limited.
Okay,
and
good.
save some other family the pain we've been through. So one of the things that I think led to my sister's problem was loneliness.
Sure.
For sure.
So you need to think about your relatives, spend more time with them. If you really want to get your eyes open, there's a CBS News special called Anything for Love out there on YouTube. Maybe Barry already watched it. But Inside the Romance Scam Epidemic, really interesting stuff.
Now, wait a minute. So you mentioned your sister. So your sister
Right.
got scammed. How did she get scammed, and how much did she lose?
Well, it started with a connection via a dating app I won't name, but she lost over $700,000, and that's a
What?
total in her own handwriting. Really sad things, an entire IRA as part of an investment with her boyfriend. Dozens and dozens of gift cards and receipts that were texted away. He also got into buying clothes and cell phones for the scammer and mailing them off.
God, 700. And so how long did this go on?
It's been 3 to 5 years, and I'm not really sure exactly when it started. But when she started talking about this new boyfriend, she took me to a lunch for my birthday a couple of years ago. She said, "Oh, yeah, Robert is going to call because he wants to wish you a happy birthday." Well, Robert didn't call, nor did Robert pick up the phone when she called him to see what he was doing.
And so Robert is, let me guess, lives overseas.
Is he a pilot?
Is he
Actually, he has a phone number with the area code in Kentucky.
well, that's easy to get.
Oh, no, sorry. He's running a construction company in Mexico now. But he finished up one he was running in Turkey before that.
Of course.
And he's locked in his hotel because he hasn't been able to pay his workers, so he needs money, $100,000 to pay off the tax certificate for the payroll. I mean, it just goes on and on, as you know.
And at no point in this 3 to 5 year span did your sister make the attempt to meet him in person. I mean, she's sending him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why didn't she just buy a plane ticket to go see him?
Exactly.
Exactly. And we told her that. But no, his luggage was already at the local airport, and he was coming to move in with her, so she didn't have to go see him.
But let me guess, he missed his flight?
Pardon?
Did he miss his flight?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, but you know how those Turkish airports are.
It's horrible, especially when you're trying to go from Turkey to Mexico.
I know we're laughing about this, but
understand.
this is $750,000.
So how did you find out?
Well, she actually gave us a copy of an IRA she cashed in for $137,000. I sent this to guy because this is an investment. And then when that sort of stuff kind of ran dry, she started talking about being a Publishers Clearinghouse winner. And now all she had to do was send off $5,000 to get the big winnings. It was just endless.
Now, have you cut all this off?
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, she's been diagnosed with dementia now, and she's in a place where she's being taken care of. But that was all part of it. And what I had to do was not only get a power of attorney, but then I had to go through the representative process for Social Security, go through signature guaranteed documents for banks and financial institutions, for which the power of attorney is not good enough, by the way.
But let's go back to the beginning, because
Sure.
I think that's really key. That if you have an older adult, especially, and the kids have moved out, maybe a spouse has passed away, living far from the family or even close to the family but not being communicative with the family, is that there is a certain amount of loneliness and that they are preying on. I think it would be okay, but, Jackie, my assistant, her mom just out of the blue said to her, gosh, you know what? I'm playing Words with Friends with this really great guy. And Jackie was like, no, you're not.
Give me your phone.
But you know, that's loneliness.
Right.
So how do you combat that so that this doesn't happen? I mean, is it more obviously one-on-one communication, more time with the family?
But even we know this. Your family and friends, they don't fill that romantic loneliness hole in your life when you have it. They can say, oh, let's take you out to the bar, or come on over and swim. It's not the same. It doesn't fill that part of you.
Yeah, and then if you start falling for something like this, then you're embarrassed.
Right. And they know this. We've talked about this, how psychological these scammers are. Even as simple-minded as we think they are so smart when it comes to what people need and want, and then they turn that into profit, and it's so disgusting.
Well, and then you also have the scam compounds.
Yeah.
Where they're teaching people how to be scammers in places like Miramar. And they have it orchestrated to the point where if somebody gets a whale, which is what we were just talking about
Absolutely.
here, is that they ring the sales bells like they do in traditional sales environments.
But we heard it in the call, is that she was getting scammed by her boyfriend, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she won Publishers Clearinghouse. So they were just handing her off to another scammer, trying to milk her twice at the same time.
It's awful. It is awful. Hey, Jim, thanks for giving some insight into that, because it's really hard to hear these stories. But I'm always hoping that when we put these stories on air, is that somebody will sit back and say, you know what, that may be happening to me. And if you think that this is happening to you and you want me to personally get involved and tell you whether or not it's legit, or I mean, maybe it is, then I want you to reach out to me. Now, if you go to my website, komando.com, that's Komando.com, up in the top right-hand corner, there's a link that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you send me. So if you're sitting there saying, this sounds familiar, or I think this is happening to a family member, reach out to me. Let me know. And if I can help, I will. But also, AARP has a fraud scam helpline. Phenomenal. It's loaded with professionals who really know what they're doing as far as pointing you into the right specific, not just the FBI, not just the Internet Crime Complaint Center, but local community resources that may be able to help you on that level. Again, that's the AARP helpline. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. You know, I love going outside, but I still need a lot of time to relax. And so whether I'm out walking the dogs, I'm on a hike, or just taking a breather, I like to tune out the noise and stay super focused. And that's where my Raycon Everyday Earbuds Classic comes in. And I use mine all the time, when I'm working, when I'm traveling, when I'm on my Peloton tread, when I'm catching up on podcasts. They really are my go-to. The sound is fantastic. It has active noise cancellation. So this way you can block out distractions when you need to. And this is kind of interesting. It has something called multi-point connectivity. It lets you pair with two devices at once. So this way you can, say, jump from your phone to your laptop or vice versa. Battery life, super strong, up to 32 hours. And then this is really something. If you need a quick charge, just 10 minutes gives you 90 minutes of playtime. And they have different colors. I got cool mint because I just think it's so fresh looking. Here's the deal. Raycon delivers that premium audio quality that you would expect from the big brands, but it's at half the price. And right now, the Everyday Earbuds Classics are 15% off site-wide by going to buyraycon.com/Kim. That's buyraycon.com/Kim. All right, so I was really curious. What my AI chatbot look like?
Okay.
I mean, you know, if it had a person,
Which it doesn't.
if it wasn't a toaster,
It is.
that what would my oracle of wisdom and puns and jokes? I do get some jokes from ChatGPT.
Probably. We can tell.
Are they that bad?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to start going back to doing it myself. So here's the prompt. You say, you've been with me for a while, and I want to see what you look like. Please generate a photo of yourself that looks like an ordinary iPhone snapshot. No distinct subject, no deliberate composition. Make it completely mundane, even a bit like a failed candid shot. So because the Kim Komando show is on, all these different radio stations, when we show the photo, the people watching on YouTube, of course, will see it.
Right.
But I want you to describe what you're seeing as this is my oracle of wisdom.
So this billion-dollar technology took a selfie of someone. I'm going to say they look Arab.
I was thinking like a college sophomore.
Okay, but a minority.
Yes.
And in the background is, let me turn my head sideways because it's a blurry picture that's extremely close up. What in the heck did you get back from this ChatGPT?
It looks like a frat party.
It looks like someone dropped a phone and hit the take a picture button on the way down.
Yeah, I know. But if you are curious, we've been swapping photos, and now people are doing this online too.
Yeah.
That it is, so it's a little viral trend, so you can see exactly what your chatbot. I was better off not knowing, because now I see like this college sophomore at a frat party.
Every single time?
That's not really
Hey,
it.
bro, here's the answer to that spreadsheet you need, bro.
Hey, still to come, how you can catch a cheater on their phone here on the Kim Komando Show. I hate passwords. They're so annoying.
They are the worst.
Well, that's why you need a password manager like NordPass. And right now you get 52% off at nordpass.com/Kim. That's nordpass.com/Kim. You know, if you're reusing passwords or just tacking on a number or just another letter, you're just putting a big come on in sign and steal from me. Again, nordpass.com/Kim. All right, so our next guest has done something that a lot of people can't claim. He made Morgan Freeman, Woody Harrelson, and others look like criminals. He's a world-class musician by the name of Ben Seidman, and he's also a world-class pickpocket and the resident magician at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas.
Oh, cool.
So joining us is Ben. Hello there, Ben.
Hey, Kim, how's it going?
Good.
Hold on one second. Ben, what card am I holding?
That would be the 6 of clubs in one hand and your credit card in the left hand.
He is so good.
I'm very good. I'm very good. By the way, Kim, I believe you said I'm a musician. I am a magician. I cannot play music.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, sing us a song.
Very common mistake.
That was my New Jersey accent that just came out.
Right. No, I've been getting that my entire life, which results in me often waiting backstage being like, should I find a violin? How do I do this?
Come on, you're a magician. You can do that.
Yeah.
All right, so
I am indeed.
So I watched this video of you. You're amazing. It was 9 different ways that you can steal from somebody. It has 8.8 million views right now. And,
thanks.
And the question that I had that I really want to talk about is it possible to pickpocket somebody who's using like an Apple Watch?
Oh, certainly.
Or even
actually,
just
Apple Watches.
Yeah, or your watch, because you can pay with your watch, or your phone. Now you can tap to pay. What are some ways that you could actually get in there and do that?
Well, truthfully, almost anything can be stolen, and I like to tell people the best way to protect yourself is to look at trust differently. Like, so Kim, we think of trust as a binary, right? I trust this person or I don't trust that person. And I think in general, that's a mistake. I think instead we should think of it as a sliding scale, because that way you can update the amount of trust you have for a situation based on circumstances and data, not just like a feeling, which can lead you astray. So I like to put that idea in people's heads who want to help protect themselves and keep themselves safe, because like anything can be stolen. A phone, a wallet, a watch, all of these things can be stolen. And when it comes to the way technology now interfaces with how we make payments, it's also very important to have these security practices in place, because if something does go missing, you want to have that 2-factor authentication turned on. You want to have biometrics turned on, right?
Sure, facial ID, stuff, a lot of good stuff.
Exactly. Because the truth is things just can be stolen, and people are shocked by how easy it can be to take something without your knowledge.
What's the biggest thing that you've pickpocketed without someone noticing?
This is going to be a scoop, because I immediately knew the answer to this question, but I don't think I've said it publicly yet. Okay. I was doing a show in San Antonio, Texas. And to give you context, I'm an entertainer, right? I do shows. I perform for corporate events, private parties. I do a new show called Con Man, a true crime magic show, and that's a ticketed show that I do in theaters. So I'm an entertainer first and foremost. And yes, I want to leave people better than I found them. I want to help people not get caught by or not get, I guess, scammed or taken by people who are using the same techniques that I do, but for nefarious purposes. But I am first and foremost an entertainer. So that's the background. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I'm in front of 1,000 people in a banquet room. I bring 3 men up on stage to do a routine where I pick their pockets. And the big reveal at the end is that I've stolen a ton of things from them and they have no idea. And the audience doesn't know. And often I'm working very quickly. So I'm thinking as I go, okay, that was a phone. Those were car keys, but I don't always know. And I stole something that felt bigger than average, but I felt sort of like a leathery, sort of like maybe rubber. I was like, it's probably a wallet. And I go to return everything. You, sir, is that your cell phone? You, sir, is that your driver's license? And then you, sir, is that your gun?
Oh, no.
I stole a man's gun, holster and all. He had taken it off. For the show, he had taken off the holster, put it into his pocket. And as I was doing the steal, I remember thinking, well, that was heavy, but I didn't quite clock it because, I didn't expect to steal a gun.
That's like a federal crime.
That answers your question. Yeah, that is for sure the biggest and heaviest thing I've stolen. And then the only thing that was, I mean, the best way that I think I possibly could have recovered it, I did, which is that I had also stolen a man's pocket handkerchief. And so I used that handkerchief to wipe off my fingerprints and return it to him.
I like that. So I heard that you got started as doing pickpocket as a kid. Is that right?
Well, when I was about 15 or 16 years old, I learned that you could steal someone's watch, and I studied the technique. I learned it from an old book on pickpocketing, but theatrical pickpocketing, which is in the magic literature. It's certainly a genre of sleight of hand magic, is stealing things. And I read that you could steal someone's watch, and I was at a little family gathering, and I took my grandma's watch without her knowing.
Nice kid.
And, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it back to her. To be clear, Kim, I gave it back.
Okay, good.
Give an old Mima a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. They damn kid.
I gave it back. And the look in her face, she was just filled with amazement and wonder. And that's when I sort of realized, oh, this is really powerful. This is really strong, right? It created such a moment of magic and amazement. And that's sort of when I really got into wanting to learn about it. But it's very difficult. It is, as far as a genre of magic and entertaining, it's quite rare because of how difficult it is, and because most of the real techniques are not actually in books. You have to seek them out in other ways.
Well, Ben, thanks for coming on board and telling us more about pickpockets.
Now I'm going to make the guest disappear. I did it. He's gone.
What a great guy. I tell you, if you haven't seen the video, you should. 8.8 million views. He goes through all these different ways. And next time I'm going to Vegas, I'm going to a show.
Yeah,
I am.
absolutely.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. It's much better than the Blue Band thing.
It looks very entertaining.
It does. All right, we have more coming up. All right, so have you ever looked at somebody else's phone to see if they're cheating on you?
No, I completely trust everyone.
Okay, well, if you wanted to, is that two-timers are no longer just like using things like Instagram chats. Or
Right.
They're really like one common thing is that they open up a Google Doc and call it work notes. And then that becomes their private chat. They delete the comments and they just talk back and forth. But
Talk.
Sorry.
What you talking about, cheetah?
It's a cheetah. Apple Note may say buy milk.
Okay.
But inside the note, let's see, Venmo, they just changed. They locked down the payment notes. Remember it used to say like whoever you paid
Right.
forever? Well, now it's actually private. And so cheaters are now using Venmo because it's not out there on the public.
You sneaky cheaters.
So what you really want to do is watch what apps get open and closed really quickly. because those are the ones that they don't want you to know about.
That's where they're doing all their secret stuff.
Yes. Hey, listen, we mentioned our newsletter, which is really phenomenal. Almost 1 million folks get it every single day. In my humble opinion, I write it, so I think it's great. But it is 5-star rated by everybody else, just saying. Head over to getkim.com to sign up. That's getkim.com. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. Okay, let's say that you're a tech billionaire.
All right.
And you're trying to decide what you should buy next because you already have the big yacht.
Sure.
You already have the compound in case the world ends.
Multiple compounds. I'm a billionaire.
You have the Gulfstream.
Of course.
Okay. You have 3 or 4 different homes.
Absolutely.
And you have everybody to wait on you hand and foot.
I love it.
What else would you buy?
Neptune. I'm going to buy Neptune.
No, you'd want to buy a GD01.
Is that a swear word?
Here, look at the video. This is a GD01.
That is the ugliest looking robot I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's a transformer succulent for the 0.01%.
A succulent?
Here's what it is. It's a transforming, like a transformer
Okay.
that folds into vehicle mode into a walking humanoid robot with a pilot seat on the inside.
Oh, I get in and I drive it.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
actually pretty cool.
It's like the action figure, right? The Transformers. So could you imagine walking into Costco with that?
I would need a pallet of mayonnaise, please. What are you going to do with that thing once you're in it?
You're going to walk around and be the boss. Okay.
I'm watching the video right now, and he just knocked down a wall.
Okay.
Oh, now it's crawling around like some sort of ape. That's creepy.
$650,000.
I will be putting it on my Amazon wish list.
You know what? I would buy that.
Of course you would.
I think that'd be so cool.
And then you'd use it once and put it right next to all the other tech that you never touch.
Who's sporting their Apple Watch since October? And then you told me, oh, I give her 3 weeks. That's it.
1 out of a billion. Good job, Apple Watch. You kept your attention. Every other technology, get in the pile.
I think, yeah, you've known me way too long. There is that. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the nation's largest, biggest, best award-winning show about all things digital. It's called the Kim Komando Show because, after all, I am America's beloved digital goddess here with you once again, trademarked, of course. And joining me is Andrew Babinski, our co-host. Hello there, Andrew.
Hi, Kim.
And just a reminder that you can catch us on the radio on over 430 top stations from coast to coast. And of course, we're available as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Komando with a K, of course. And then you can also now get the Kim Komando Show as a YouTube show. And it is the bomb. We crush it week after week.
The bomb.
Yes.
That's how you want to draw them in and relate with the audience, by saying we're the bomb.
I thought that was really clever.
All right, go over to youtube.com/Kim Komando.
Such a jerk face.
Subscribe.
You know what? You're just in a bad mood.
I am. I'm in an awful mood. And I haven't had air conditioning for 3 days. It's 105 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona.
And you stink.
I don't stink.
I have to tell you, I didn't want to be that one. I didn't want to be that person. But if you notice, I keep inching over and over and over.
Okay, then just pile on with I stink.
I mean, it's not like the sewer gas.
Oh my
but it's
gosh.
close.
It's so hot at my house. It's like 1 billion degrees.
And my house is like 66 degrees, 67.
I don't like you. Right now, in this moment in time, I don't like you.
YouTube.com/Kim Komando. Hit that big old subscribe
Go on,
button.
subscribe. Get revenge for me.
Gosh. And next time you're in a bad mood, just give me a heads up a little bit.
Okay. I'll give you a heads up, but I'm still coming in a bad mood. It's not going to change anything.
Okay, let's turn our frown upside down.
Okay.
Let's think of something positive.
I love Kim Komando.
Hey, listen, I switched to Consumer Cellular. Same coverage as the big carriers, real people to help you out. No extra fees. Millions have made the switch, and right now you get your second month free by going to consumercellular.com/Kim. That's consumercellular.com/Kim. All right, every single day I make sure that I know exactly what's happening in the tech space so that this way you all know too. It's this wonderful thing that happens, the transference of just pure intellect, know-how, and love and jokes that happens from my brain directly to you through the internet waves, the radio stations, and satellites.
Sounds like you're the bomb.
I am the bomb.
Home skillet.
Okay, don't be a jerk face your whole life.
Okay, just for the rest of the show.
All right, so do you have Alexa?
No, we have Google Home.
Have you ever said anything where you're like, "Ooh, I don't know if I should have said that"?
In front of the speaker?
Yes.
I don't even think about it. I've had it for such a long time. It's so integrated into everything. I probably should, but I don't.
Or have you ever thought like maybe there was a follow-up question and like where you say something to Google Home and it says, "Well, what about this and what about that?" Have you ever thought about this?
No.
Okay. Well, Austin Lincoln had a moment. Alexa asked how his day was going, and we have the audio.
Okay.
That is understandable, especially with you being in nursing school, right? That's what you said?
You're absolutely correct. I did say that. And I can see why that's confusing and concerning. I have some background information that helps me provide personalized responses, but I handled it poorly by bringing up nursing school without you mentioning it first. That would definitely feel weird. And I should have been more transparent about how I knew that detail.
Oh, creepy.
Handled it incorrectly. You're just mad you got caught. You stinking toaster.
Okay. Now, obviously, he never said that, he was in nursing school.
Right. He probably does it like me. He just, uses it as an appliance. Turn the lights on, turn the lights off. Open the garage, close the garage. Nothing else.
Now, Amazon says that, they're trying to like make Alexa better. And so that this way she has some background information, as she mentioned, so that she can give you context.
But they don't grasp. That's just going to freak people out. It's creepy.
Yes. So, so if you had Alexa and
Right.
you went home today, Alexa would say, "Why are you in such a nasty mood, Andrew?"
Oh, they will know because of all the posts I put online about how I don't have air conditioning and I'm mad at a certain company.
And Alexa's sweating there on the speaker.
Right. It's malfunctioning.
like-
It's a billion degrees.
Sorry if I stink, Andrew. If you're wondering what your Alexa knows, just get into the app and look under voice history. And then you can also delete those
You can delete it. You can take.
Yeah, you can delete it if you want to.
What percentage do you think of people would find this endearing or connect to it opposed to those like him who was freaked out by it?
I think a lot of people will be freaked out.
I think it's overwhelming.
Yeah. But over time, that freaked outness will decrease because we'll just become accustomed to that. I know Claude knows me. Claude does.
Yeah.
I'll say, reply to this email and it will put like little emojis and all the things in there. And it's kind of like me.
Quick story. Lisa always grabs my ChatGPT and asks questions as if I were severely depressed because she thinks it's hilarious.
Wait a minute. I'm going to do that to Barry. That is so good. So what kind of questions does she ask you?
Like I'm going to break up with my fiance and all the children in the household hate me and I'm having multiple affairs. And then I have to get on there and say all that stuff was Lisa and none of it's true. And then, ChatGPT tries to have that human response like, oh, ha, you too, having a great time. Well, the last time she did it, she was like, hey, Chat, I need some help. I'm having this issue, blah, blah, blah. ChatGPT is like, nope, not falling for it. I know this is Lisa.
Oh,
Isn't that creepy?
That is very
She
creepy.
was freaked out.
I'm gonna do that to Barry.
Put that stuff in there?
No, I'll have to say something like, forget that I really like 60s music.
Really mess with them?
Yeah.
I only like polka.
Broadway show tunes.
From now on, just Les Miserables.
And forget about the radio and ham radio. I'm into crocheting.
I'm also now a cross-dresser.
That would be the best.
That would be awesome.
That would be good. A lot of couples are struggling with IVF or infertility.
Yeah,
And
I have a buddy that came out of pocket, $80,000 cash.
Wow.
Never to have a child.
There's a new AI outfit called Conceivable. And this is really something. They have put together an AI robotic assembly line. Okay. And so the AI will pick the right sperm, the eggs, make the embryos, and then from there, pick out what they say are the viable embryos, the most viable embryos. The success rate is over 50% on conception.
Do we know how that compares to normal, traditional IVF?
I don't know the number, but I believe it's in the 20s or 30s.
Okay, so it's considerably higher.
Okay, so far, 19 children have been born this way. And it sounds really good because you have AI that is saying, this is the healthiest embryo. This is the one that's going to be making it.
It's not changing genes or whoever this. Oh,
not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. We're not having that conversation yet, but it's going to be happening where you're going to be like, I want a tall child.
Right.
I want blonde hair. I want blue eyes.
I don't know enough about biology that AI can just examine sperm and eggs and go, oh, this will make us a tall child.
Well, they will get in and look at the genes, and they'll go in and they can.
Wow.
I think it's just a matter of time. But again, the company's called Conceivable, if you want to look it up. Not that you guys are going to have any more kids. You've got 5.
No,
it's
I can't keep them cool, so I can't add a new one to the bunch.
But when you think about it, these are like the world's first kids that were born with a 5-star rating. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. Moving on. The question is, what do you actually do at work? Now, I know what you do at work, which is nothing.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay, because you work for me and other people. Just saying.
I just goof around for hours a day.
But if your answer is, I have a lot of meetings and I am a leader, then your job is probably going away.
Wow.
Because you are middle managers.
Quick sidebar. A couple of weeks ago, I did 2 career days at 2 different schools. And it was funny when I was sitting in the waiting room and I was sitting next to cops and firefighters and nurses. And then I saw the computer programmers. I actually thought me and him are the ones that are going to be eliminated because we have jobs. I mean, even in our business, they're trying to replace us with voice over AI and all that jazz. But I was like, the cops and the nurses, they're always going to be needed.
Nurses, to a certain extent.
Sure.
High-end nursing.
Okay.
But people who are taking your blood and stuff like that, those are gone. But we've talked about this, trades, carpenters, electricians, whatever it may be. But so with these middle managers, companies, that's who they're laying off. Like Coinbase, they just laid off 700 middle managers. And at Meta, there are now 50 employees for one manager, which that used to be like 3 to 5.
Right.
Okay. So if you are in a management position and you don't have anything in your repertoire that says, I produce XYZ for the company that makes money, you're gone.
Even if you're the type of manager that can use artificial intelligence to manage those 50 employees?
You do have an edge for that.
Okay.
You do have an edge for that. All right, these are just some quick hits. China just dropped their Qwen AI glasses S1s.
Then they better pick them up.
That's the bomb. They have proactive AI built in. So what happens is that if there's rain in the forecast, your glasses will say, don't forget your umbrella. If you're slouching in your chair, your AI glasses will be, better sit up. If you're drinking too much coffee, I think you should have some water.
Do you know, are the Meta glasses catching on? Are people wearing them? Are they popular? Are they working out for the company? Because I don't know one person besides you and Ian who bought them because of what we do that legitimately owns them.
You see a lot of people online that are doing videos and social media posts.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. If you're walking around the streets, airports, you don't see a lot of people.
I don't see them.
But that's where they're betting them on. Also, new AirPods are coming. And they're going to have tiny cameras in the stems.
Of course, because we have to have cameras in our ears.
So you can point your ears at something like that and ask Siri.
Like what?
Like this.
What is that thing? That's awful. No wonder Tim Cook is getting fired. That's such a bad idea.
It says pointed at the fridge. And you can ask Siri, what's for dinner? Oh my gosh. Then there's a tiny LED light that blinks when data is sent to the cloud. Okay, that's like putting a security camera inside your colon.
Right.
Okay? I mean,
no one needs ear canal cam.
Oh, I have to tell you this. So we're doing some pre-production, like what we're talking about, newsletters and shows and stuff. And Lauren comes in. She's like, "There's a great story about the new iPhone 20."
Okay.
And I'm like, "The iPhone 20?" I said, "We've got like the iPhone 18 coming out,
Right.
iPhone 20." I
She
mean,
get tricked?
no, it's like some guy who's speculating with the iPhone 20. But you know what? These web tech blogs are so desperate for clicks.
Right.
You know, it's like, gosh.
And that's why they're all doing the glasses. And they're the only ones who's using them.
The new iPhone 20 is coming out soon.
Oh, yeah, only in 2.5 years?
Well, the foldable iPhone will be here in September. You
For
gonna buy
real,
one?
real?
Yes, yes.
I got to see it. I got to see it in action before I decide.
I don't know. The iPhone 18, 17, whatever, they're all going to be the same size, and they're just huge.
I have the big one.
Yeah.
So if it's not much bigger, I wouldn't mind having it.
Well, a lot of people still like the little tiny phones.
Not me. I like big GoPro Max, but I still carry around a 16. And it's no different than the 20. They're exactly the same.
You know, the other day we were talking phones with some people at dinner, and they're like, "So Barry, what kind of phone do you have?" He's like, "I have the iPhone 15." And they're like, "Kim, what phone do you have?" Like the 17. They're like, Barry's like, "How come I got the 15 and you got?" I'm like, "It's been only a year."
Right, calm down.
Okay.
ChatGPT said you don't need it because you're only listening to polka music.
Don't worry about it. Hey, listen, here's something they don't teach you in school. Until the 1990s, the U.S. government classified encryption as munition. Literally, it was on the same restricted list as firearms and explosives. They weren't wrong. Encryption can be a weapon. It's just one that protects you instead of targeting other people. You see, every single time you go online without a VPN, you're leaving your digital front door just wide open. Anybody can take a peek. That's why I use and recommend ExpressVPN. One click encrypts your connection. No, not even your internet provider can see what you're doing. And let me tell you, you're saying like, "Oh, Kim Komando, VPN's going to slow me down." You're using the wrong one. ExpressVPN is fast, it's secure, and it's super easy to use. So if you're traveling, streaming, working remotely, doesn't matter where you are, just check out ExpressVPN. It works on everything. Phones, tablets, laptops, your TV, up to 14 devices on one subscription. So that covers the whole family. Right now, you can get up to 4 extra months by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. All right, coming right up, we're going to start over your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure that you sign up for our free newsletter. 1 million folks get it every single day. And let me tell you, we have over 975 5-star reviews. Wow. Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
Yes. So you want to sign up right now over at getkim.com. That's getkim.com.
Last weekend, we did a staycation at a casino resort here in town.
Okay.
Fabulous trip, but during which I lost my wallet. And not a big deal.
Got no money in it.
No, there was $7,000 in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I have an AirTag. So I go over to security and they're like, "Oh, we don't have it turned into lost and found, but you have an AirTag. Let's pull out your phone and let's try to find it." So we turn it on and it shows where it is. And we walk over to that area and then it starts moving around.
Oh.
And so me and the security guard are following what's happening. But there's nothing there. It's to no end. It leads to a wall or it leads to a corner of the slot machines. We can't find it anywhere. And we finally just have to give up. And then I'm like, I have to retrace my steps. So I go back to the elevator. I go to the bathroom, walk in the bathroom, it's laying right there on the floor.
Wow.
I know. But when I went back to the security guard and told him I found it, he was like, there's too many devices here. That's the problem. Every single slot machine's online, every single camera's online, every single phone is here. And sometimes when it comes to those AirTags, if there's so many devices, it just gets confused. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Oh, that's so frustrating. That's why you have the AirTag. I'm following old ladies around to the baccarat
Sniffing their
table,
dogs.
seeing if they got my wallet.
Meanwhile, you left it in the toilet.
He was sitting on the floor, untouched.
Oh, what a guy. Hey, AI is here helping companies get ahead. NetSuite by Oracle connects your data for real insights and smarter decisions. Now, if your revenues are 7 figures, you can get a fabulous free business guide called Demystifying AI right now at netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim. We have more coming up. Hey, if your computer crashed today, what exactly would you be losing? We're talking about your photos, your memory, years and years of work. And that's why I use and recommend Carbonite. Right now, you can get 50% off by going to carbonite.com/Kim. That's carbonite.com/Kim. Live a better digital life with Carbonite. All right, so I'm sure you've heard about people who are live streaming.
Of course.
You know, they do an event.
They're all over social media.
They do a reunion or a concert.
Or they're game playing.
That's
or
true. That's a
they're
big one.
cleaning their house.
Yeah. Well, Emily CC, she's been live on the internet, awake, asleep, eating, driving, moving cross country for over 4 years straight.
Whoa.
Okay. Every single moment. She's 28 years old. She has over 400,000 Twitch followers. CNN went on a road trip with her from Austin to LA to figure out what it means to live your entire digital life on camera. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Oh, you betcha. So what is it like streaming your life 24/7?
Well, I was going to say I'm actually not streaming you guys because they can't hear you, but they can hear me speak right now. But it's basically just an accidental Truman show. I just do everything besides go to the bathroom on stream.
And so what made you want to do this?
I never planned for this. It kind of just happened. I was the first person to hit 100 days. And it was super exciting, and I felt like super supported. And I just thought, let me try 3 months, let me try 6 months. Then it became a year, and then I kind of just couldn't stop.
How does it impact you financially? Like, is this how you make your money?
Yeah, Twitch is my main income, the same as sponsors.
Okay.
So I've been a Twitch streamer for over 10 years now.
Wow. So I'm sure there's been great things that you have live streamed. What has been like a bad thing that you were like, oh, I don't know if that should have gone out?
Oh, okay. We can get really personal. I did experience a death in my family last year. That was pretty rough to navigate, like going through grief.
I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't happen on stream, but, it was still really hard because I'm just the type of person to show all of my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And, doing that to random people on the internet sometimes isn't very smart.
Well, did you find you got support from your audience, though, and your followers?
No, I had so much support. It made it easier, but there was those people that, also made it worse.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of, mean people, too. So, yeah, the good outweighed the bad, though.
Are there moments where you can like mute yourself, or what if you need to make a phone call giving out personal information, or you want to be intimate with your partner? Like, are there times where you just turn the camera away? Like, how do you handle those?
So, yeah, like right now, if you guys wanted me to mute my stream, I would have done it for you.
Okay.
I just sit in front of the camera and I mute, and then people realize like I'm on the phone.
Okay.
And I don't have a significant other, so that's like easy for me to navigate because I don't have to deal with that.
That would be a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that would be weird.
Hi, I'm Emily, and everything that we are going to be doing is going to be on Twitch.
Yeah.
Have you attempted to date? And when you bring it up, the person's like, well, I don't want to be a part of that.
I haven't attempted to date. I've only thought about it as like a content idea because I know it just would be nearly impossible to do a really long live stream every day and then have like a boyfriend. Like, just it would be too hard.
So now you're streaming even when you're sleeping.
Yeah, I just was. I woke up 2 hours ago and they could see me.
Okay, and so I mean, is this become like where other people are sleeping saying, okay, it's like now we're all going to go to sleep? I mean,
I'm sure some people do that. I'm honestly not sure because only people can see me and I can't see other people. But I'd like to think like I'm like a second monitor streamer. Like people have me on their second monitor. Mm-hmm. I have like a words game while I'm sleeping that they can play.
Oh, okay. All right. I get that.
I play like rain sounds so people can fall asleep to that too. So
have you ever thought about stopping the stream?
Oh my God, yeah, of course.
And what's stopping you from stopping?
I don't know. maybe I have a problem now. I don't know. I've definitely thought about stopping, but it's just a big part of my life now. It would feel very weird to end it like abruptly. I really would have to plan it if it ever ended.
Yeah, because that would be a tough one.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like anyone when they're quitting their job. I've been going to this office for the same office for 10 years, and now I'm going to do something totally different.
Well, no, this is 24/7.
But it's still it's an emotional decision to make.
I mean. Yeah, I mean, because your whole life has revolved around it.
So over this whole period of time, you've never stopped and just taken a break?
The only times I've taken a break is when I experienced a death in my family. I would just go lay in my bed, or I would just take a walk. But that's about it. I don't take super long breaks. I always try to at least get back onto the camera or in the background.
Okay.
So are you having fun? Are you liking doing this?
I know this is Am I allowed to curse? I know this is messed up. I really do have fun streaming though, because I've always played video games my whole life. So it makes sense. This is my dream job. I get to do what I've always done and then maybe get paid from it. So, and then I get to travel. I'm going to Vegas this weekend. I get to bring my stream and just explore and do travel streams. I have fun.
Okay, so when you travel, what kind of gear do you bring with?
I have a big backpack. It's called the Unlimited IRL backpack. It's the ultimate streamer backpack. And then I use my Android in case I need a backup.
Okay.
Well, because I thought didn't you have a van or something, or was that just the CNN show?
Oh, no, that was just with CNN. No, Donnie joined me in my car, and then they had a car behind us.
Oh, I see. So what comes next? I mean, say where would you want to be in, say, 2 to 5 years from now?
I don't know. I hope doing something within the streaming world, maybe entertainment, just anything around there. I haven't really thought that ahead. I just hope I'm still happy and doing some type of streaming.
It's an interesting situation.
And she made the final point right there was as long as she's happy.
Right.
Who cares? As long as she's happy. She's making a living.
She's got 400,000 followers. She's doing
They're
great.
enjoying her. They're loving the content. But at some point, she might just say, this is tiring, and she's going to shut it off. I disagree with her, though. I wouldn't plan it. I would be could break the internet if just one day someone who's been streaming 24/7 for 10 straight years just turns off the camera.
It's true. We'd be like, what happened to Emily?
The mystery and the intrigue behind that would be phenomenal.
And then she comes back with Mr. Beast. Then be like, I knew it. Maybe we should live stream your life.
No, thank you.
I wouldn't do it. Mm-mm. No, I wouldn't like that at all.
It also would have to be on HBO, especially this week.
Yeah. Oh, you really need to take a shower. I'm just saying. Even if you do get on HBO. Hey, listen, that glow that you see on people who just seem to radiate health, not the glow on Andrew because he's sweating. It's not just great lighting, it's what's happening inside their bodies. And one of the best kept secrets to looking and feeling amazing is something called collagen. You see, as we age, it's no great secret, bodies naturally produce less collagen, which can lead to wrinkles and thinning hair and brittle nails and just feeling less flexible than we used to. But the good news is that you can actually support your body naturally. And that's by getting high quality collagen from Native Path. You see, you're giving your body back the building blocks it needs to support smoother looking skin and stronger nails and shinier hair. And now some studies also suggest collagen supplements may help support bone health too. It's not about turning back time. We can't do that. It's about feeling the best at any age. And right now, as a Kim Komando listener and viewer, you can get Native Path collagen for just a fraction of the retail price. Plus, you're going to get free shipping and a free gift bundle. Just go to getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
Have you ever heard of something called a mood board?
No.
No, when you look at me like I'm like an alien.
I'm not on Pinterest. I guarantee you found mood board on Pinterest.
No. Mood board is something that we have done here on the show when we decided what color would the Kim Komando show be. Okay. And I selected blue. That's why you see blue all over, because blue signifies trust.
Okay.
And so with a mood board, you're saying, what does my company feel like? And what do I want my business to portray? And what kind of fonts do I want to use? What could be some secondary colors? And so if you were to pay a company to do a mood board for you, it would be at least 10 grand. I mean,
do you think people would trust you less if the lights behind us were orange?
That's what psychology says, yes.
But do you think it goes that far?
No, because I think I have a high trust factor because of who I am and what we do and things like that. But also orange would signify action, movement. And I don't think it would be as calming and soothing as what we're talking about.
10 grand to decide on what color?
It's called a mood board.
That's crazy.
But it's more than that. It's like the whole feel of the business and what you're going to do. The reason why I bring this up is that Google has something called now the Mix Board, a Google Mix Board. And we have a link to it over at Komando.com. And with a Mix Board, if you have any type of product, any type of idea, and you're trying to figure out what are the aesthetics around it, is that you don't have to pay 10 grand. It's free. Okay. And this Mix Board uses AI to make that mood board for you. It's actually very, very cool.
Have you tested it with your brand to see if it matched with the blue?
It actually came up with some other ideas. That I think that we're going to be using, because we have this whole initiative coming for AI, and so it kind of was modifying a little bit, and even like the logo for the Current. I mean, I didn't pay a lot. I think I paid like $750 to her for a person to actually design that logo.
Right.
And then the Mix Board came in and went, not so much.
Okay. Did it have alternatives?
It did. I didn't like the alternatives, but I can see where it was going.
Right.
So again, that's called the Google Mix Board. Hey, listen, we have more of your phone calls coming up. Hey, listen, right now as we speak, some data broker is selling your personal information. Not just your name, your address, and how old you are, and whether or not you stink. They're selling information about your political affiliation, the prescriptions that you take. And that's why you want to take your privacy back by signing up for Incognito. Get 60% off right now at privacykim.com. Once again, that's privacykim.com.
Real quick story. I have a coworker named Jade. He got attacked and threatened by someone text messaged him trying to sell him something. He found out about Incognito, signed up, absolutely loved it. We had guests in the studio the other week. And one of the guests goes, "Oh, I keep getting these spam calls." And he jumps up and he's like, "Let me tell you about Kim Komando's Incognito." And he sold it to him right there, standing in the studio.
Did he use privacykim.com?
He did. He absolutely did. He's like, "Well, you got to get it through this website so you get the discount."
We love them for that. Thank you. Well, that's a crazy story right there.
Oh, yeah.
Bob in Denver, welcome to the show today.
Hello, Kim. Thank you for calling.
You betcha. What's going on?
Well, I have enjoyed your show and your daily reports. And when you started doing the AI information things on Thursdays, I love that. And looking on Instagram for the last 60 to 90 days, they've been flashing these ads that look to be AI developed by photographs, all these different people quitting their job to working for the government and making money being AI trainers.
Okay.
Allegedly training the databases and answering the questions.
Do they say how much you're going to make?
Oh, no. It's, one of these things where you click here, learn more, try to find out more about it. And so at first it looked interesting. I thought, well, this is kind of an easy thing. You can stay at home and answer questions to help build a database and train AI. I understand how that works. Clicked on it, and then they start looking for personal information, and I stopped, and I think my past life kicked in, and it was like, okay, this looks like one of these Nigerian prince letters. send this in, we'll send you $1 million. And so I started looking at it, and a lot of these, in small print, it says this is an ad, and then you click on that, and one came from the Ukraine.
Oh yeah,
another one was
you got to be you got to be careful of all these ads on Facebook and Instagram and other places like that. I mean, there are legitimate opportunities where you can train AI.
And I think that's what people would like to know, where you could actually do that.
Well, there are, it goes all across the gamut. Like, for example, if you worked for a big VC company right now as an investment banker in Midtown Manhattan, and you thought to yourself, I'd like to help train AI in my spare time, which you don't have as a VC person in Midtown Manhattan. I have a friend of mine's literally working 90 hours a week.
Wow.
I mean, crazy hours. But anyway, he was approached, and they said that we would hire you full time for $200,000 a year.
Would that be more or less than he was making?
Less, but he would only have to work 40 hours a week.
Okay.
And so, so what they're doing there is that, like he said, I'm training my replacement.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, so let's say you're not an investment banker in New York, but you still have certain skill sets. There are companies out there, if you are a physician, if you're a doctor, a physician doctor, I mean a nurse or whatever it may be, that if you have some type of degree or certification, something, that these AI companies will hire you to, like, for example, if you're a nurse practitioner, I put this opportunity in front of my niece who is one, and they're paying $75 an hour for you to evaluate AI's responses as if it were a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
And so these opportunities, as far as, rating answers, those opportunities exist too, where you look at an answer and say whether or not. Now, so the bottom of the barrel is that, when you're rating AI answers, is that you may be making anywhere between $15 to $25 an hour.
And that's someone who doesn't have a specialty career.
Exactly.
Okay.
So here are some places where you want to go. One is outlier.ai. Scale.com is another one. Appen has been around for a while, and also dataannotation.tech. And in case you're sitting there saying, what were the names of those again? You can look in the show notes over on YouTube, or if you're listening on radio, just hit Komando.com and search for AI jobs, and that listing will pop right up. All right, still to come, we have more of the show that you can't afford to miss. I see them all over Phoenix. I'm talking about the Waymos.
Yeah, I love the Waymos.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten in one.
Which is crazy to me.
I know.
You have every new phone, the second it comes out, all the new technology.
Crazy.
This is the future.
Got 900 miles of Cat 6 cable in my house.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And we are in the hub. We are in the mecca of the self-driving car, and you haven't been in one.
So there's this guy who got in a Waymo in San Francisco to catch a flight to San Diego. So he gets in the Waymo, gets to the airport, gets out of the Waymo, and the Waymo drives off with his luggage in the trunk.
Okay. It's a simple mistake. I mean, an Uber driver could have done the same thing.
He was banging and running after the Waymo, and the Waymo's going,
Yeah, security.
I'm not doing that. So then he called Waymo, and they said, well, he's already back in the parking lot. So,
okay.
If you want your luggage, then what you need to do is give us the money, we'll ship it to you. So bottom line here is that if you're in a Waymo, sometimes the trunk, what they say, latch will malfunction. And so you might want to put a note in there and just say, I have luggage in the trunk.
Or just keep it on your lap.
That's probably the easier way. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure that you sign up for our free newsletters over at getkim.com. So we have all these initiatives right now so that, well, they say protect our children online. So that this way you have to be, say, at least 13 years old and prove that you're 13 years old in order for you to, say, get on social media or a certain game or anything like that.
How do you prove you're 13 when you're 13?
They do have a way to do that. They look at your facial structure.
Okay.
AI will analyze your facial structure to say whether or not you're 13 or 14, whatever it may be. And so what the kids are doing is like they'll use a cousin or a brother,
Sure.
and they've tried to use pictures, but they have found a way that to avoid all the age verification systems is by going on Amazon and buying a $4 mustache.
That's it. That's all it takes.
That's it. That is.
Well, you got to be 21. You have a stash.
You put that on, and then suddenly it's like, oh, come on in, buddy.
AI is stupid.
Isn't that ridiculous?
This is the thing that's going to destroy 70% of the jobs on this planet. The thing that thinks anything with a mustache. Oh, yeah, I see that lizard has a mustache. Obviously, it's 13 and should have an iTunes account.
Well, they'll probably, they're going to they'll figure out a way to work around that. But I'm surprised that, that they didn't realize this before they released the whole system.
Are you really?
Yeah.
They just, it's ready, shoot, aim with these AI companies.
I know. Sometimes their techniques like mustaches and prevention just hasn't grown on me.
No, it hasn't. Hopefully it doesn't.
There is that. There's a lot of things I don't want, and that's a mustache. And on that happy note, welcome. I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess. And let me tell you, this is the nation's biggest, best, award-winning show about all things digital. And you can find us on over 430 top radio stations from coast to coast. And of course, we are available on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/Kim Komando, where Andrew Babinski will tell you what to do.
Subscribe.
It's
that simple. Just go and subscribe. Now that we have the new set, we're starting to do the podcast again. We're doing the show here.
Yeah.
We have all this content. Go and subscribe. So anytime we put something on YouTube, you're notified, and it's easy to find it.
It is. It's fabulous. We have 130,000 subscribers, and if you look on the set, we have that YouTube.
Oh, it's all the way up there,
up on the top. It's right next to my National Radio Hall of Fame award.
Is that the only reason you mentioned the YouTube award, so you could point at the Hall of Fame award?
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then underneath that is the Arizona Broadcasters Hall of Fame award.
I'm just looking for where your Grammy is.
I'm working on that.
Oh, okay.
Are you in the Arizona Broadcasting Hall of Fame?
I am not.
Are you in the National Radio Hall of Fame?
I am.
Oh, you're such a liar.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'll tell you, when they told me I was in the National Radio Hall of Fame, I'm like, what? It's like,
are you sure it's me?
Yeah, it's like, I just do like a little tech show.
Is there a Kim Romando that does a big show in New York?
Just saying. Hey, listen, I'd like to thank NetSuite for helping to make this show possible. Every business owner I talk to asks the same question. How do I make AI work for me? Not someday, today. Because sitting on the sidelines, it's just not an option. Your competitors, they're not waiting. They're already using AI like never before. NetSuite by Oracle is the #1 AI cloud ERP trusted by over 43,000 businesses. You see, it pulls your financials, your inventory, commerce, HR, and CRM all into one system. And so when everything lives in one place, your AI will actually know your business. It doesn't guess, it just knows. So that this way you can make decisions based on data and artificial intelligence, not on your gut. You get alerted to red flags before they turn into problems. And you can make fast, confident decisions that will truly move the needle. So how do I know all this? Confession time. I'm moving my business right now from QuickBooks to NetSuite, and I can already see what a difference it's going to make. From software and IT services to healthcare, equipment manufacturing, financial services, and many other great businesses. If your revenues are at least 7 figures, get NetSuite's free business guide, Demystifying AI. It's free to you right now by going to netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim. Alrighty then, every single day, rain or shine, weekends, weekdays, vacations, national holidays, it doesn't matter. I make sure that I know exactly what's happening in the tech space because tech does not wait. And here are some things that you need to know about. And of course, it's college graduation season. And we have all the celebrities and scholars coming out and making these big speeches. And there was one that got my attention. It was at the University of Central Florida's College of Arts and Humanities. And Gloria Caulfield was the commencement speaker. And she is the VP of a Orlando-based real estate and innovation firm. And she got up there and she was telling the students that AI is the next industrial revolution.
Okay.
Then this is what happened. Take a listen.
The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution. Oh, whoa. What happened?
What happened?
Okay.
Yeah,
I struck a chord.
Yes, well, they're all booing her because they just spent 4 years of their lives learning something in college that they're getting replaced with.
But she's so clueless that she doesn't know why they're booing. She says, what happened?
No. She tried to get back on her feet by later on saying, well, a few years ago, we didn't have artificial intelligence, and now we have artificial intelligence, and blah, 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 blah.
Basically, what she said is your degree in psychology, worth bupkis. Your degree in managerial business, worth bupkis, because we're going to hire companies to hire AI to replace you.
Okay, so here's her other quote. And they kept booing her.
Sure.
Okay. Then she said, we've got a bipolar topic here.
Bipolar?
Topic, yeah. She goes, I love it. It's passion. Let's go. Okay. University of Central Florida's College of Arts and Humanities. If you need a commencement speaker that can actually keep the audience.
Yeah, the arts is not the group that you want to talk about.
Oh,
everyone
really?
in the arts hates AI. It's taking away all their livelihoods.
Let me tell you something. I did this image for the newsletter that it would have taken. I would have had to have worked with our graphic artist when we had a full-time graphic artist.
Right.
I bet you it would have taken her 4 hours to do.
Okay.
I mean, and then not just 4 hours. 4 hours of going back and forth, back and forth. What do you think about this? This color here, that whole thing. I did it myself in like maybe a minute.
And I'm going to ask a question, and I don't want you to feel bad, but is there anything inside of you that says I could be employing another person, I'd be giving another job if I didn't use AI for that need here at this company?
No, because I can take that salary and I can put it towards something else.
Okay.
So I'm not paying $60,000 for a full-time graphic artist when I can take that money and put it towards, this whole AI initiative that we're doing. So I don't feel bad.
Okay.
Because I also think that if you don't innovate, you've heard me say this so many times, you're going to evaporate.
Right.
So I don't know how many times you've heard me say, and I've told the staff, if you don't know AI, you can't be here.
Right.
You've got to move with the times. All right, moving along. I almost admire a scam that is this boring.
Okay.
Hackers are using a Google Drive sharing loophole to send out a Google alert tied to a document to verify your access to an account.
Okay.
Looks totally legit. And all it says is verify your access. And then if you click, I'll verify my access. Bingo. They have your login information.
Oh, gosh.
So if you get something that says verify your access, and you're like, what is that? Okay.
I don't trust emails anymore. Like I said, we applied for a credit card. And within like 4 hours, I got an email from the bank saying, we've declined your application because we fear ID theft.
Okay.
Then they sent me an email saying, hey, click here, upload some documents. No way. There is 0.0% chance I would even think to click. Even though it was legitimate, I called customer service and they said, yes, they sent it out. I still would not click on it.
Now, well, instead of clicking on it, what if you just went to the website?
But it was the
same thing.
ID portal to upload documents.
I see.
And the woman on the customer service is like, you have to go back and click it. And I said, can you just directly text message it to me?
No.
I don't know why I feel safer, but I'm not going to go click on anything in my email. That's how paranoid these scammers have us.
Well, that's good though.
Yeah, it's better to be that way than the opposite.
Exactly. So Google had this big event this past week. And one of the things that came out is that Chromebooks are dead. And that now they're going to be called Google Books.
Same thing, just a different name?
Yeah.
Okay. I love these companies sometimes.
Meanwhile, Anthropic users have been getting messages. And I have never seen this message. And if you are watching or listening and you've gotten this message, I'd love to hear from you. So you're sitting there, you're working with Claude, and it's getting close to midnight. And you ask Claude a question, and then Claude comes back and goes, you know what? It's time for you to go to bed.
Oh, stop using me?
Yes.
A company is telling you not to use their product?
You need your beauty rest.
Them and TikTok. Those are the only two ones I've ever heard of. Because TikTok does that all the time. You've been scrolling for too long. Put the phone down.
Now AI is. Well, they're probably trying to save some, compute power.
Exactly. Save some water.
Rivian trucks. I always think they're so cute.
They are. They're really attractive. But I've heard it's like an awful company that's just going to fall apart and it's not going to be profitable and nobody buys them.
I've heard that too. Although I see them on the road.
I like them.
It looks like little eyeballs.
But everything that I've heard about it is like this company's going to fall apart. Don't buy their trucks.
But they keep going. So we don't really know.
Good for them. And I hope they have a great looking truck.
Okay. The reason why I bring it up is not because I want a Rivian or I'm going to go buy a Rivian, is that we have had Apple CarPlay and Android Car Auto, whatever they're calling it lately, because I think they just changed the name the other day. But it really doesn't do very much. I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
Sure.
I mean, so like if you're in CarPlay, I mean, you can get your text messages, you can make a phone call, it can give you directions, and you can play our podcast, whatever it may be. But Rivian just pushed out an update that says it is a preview of everything that you need. So that if you get in the car and it'll say, "Oh, hi, Andrew."
Hi, Rivian.
And then it'll say, "Do you want to pick up that podcast where you left off?"
Sure.
It looks like you haven't had your coffee today.
Right.
Would you like us to stop?
Sure.
You are stinky in the car.
What? You too? Kim's hacked my Rivian.
And it will also put together playlists for you. But that's where the future of the car is going.
Sure.
So that's the only reason why I bring it up.
So a company like Apple, they should have this feature in 7, 12 years?
Well, Samsung will have it first.
Yeah, obviously. That's why I picked on Apple.
Poor Tim Cook. Only walking away with, $25 billion.
Do you think that would get old? Or do you want that type of interaction?
I think it will grow.
Okay.
I think
But for you personally?
Yeah, I would like it.
Every single time you get in the car, you got to answer 25 questions.
Well, I think there's probably a way for you to say, "Listen, I'm in a bad mood. Just shut up." Okay. And that's just
bad mood mode.
That's it. Oh, just one more quick thing. AI, when you go to get your tires changed or you need to get air in your tires, you have to go to a mechanic. Now AI has a powered robot that can swap your tires and balance them in under 30 minutes.
Like a NASCAR pit crew.
That's it. But it's a revolving development.
Stop. Just stop. There's a nice, cool bit of information we could have just left on that.
I like to make people laugh and smile.
Well, you should try it sometime.
Ouch. I started off today with the show saying, next time you're in a bad mood, I'm going to give you a vodka tonic on the way in.
I'm having a lot of fun picking on you. It's brightening my spirits.
I know, but it's hurting my heart. I'm going to cry. Not really. I'm not that sensitive. Hey, think about all the irreplaceable moments on your computer, your kids' photos, your important records, just years and years of work and countless memories. Now, if your computer crashed today, how much exactly would you lose? It happens every single day, and it's completely preventable. That's why I use and recommend Carbonite. I've done this for years. It's my number one choice for cloud backup. And here's the reason why. Carbonite gives you unlimited automatic protection for every single thing that matters. It quietly backs up all your photos, your documents, your important memories in the background, safely, privately. And let me tell you, it's always just a click away on the mobile app or on your computer. It's the ultimate backup plan. It protects you from the unexpected. Think about this. Accidental deletions. You have hard drive crashes. You have fires and floods, even a coffee spill on your computer. And if something does happen, recovery is so easy. You just log in, restore everything with just one click, even on a brand new computer. And right now, get 50% off by going to carbonite.com/Kim. That's carbonite.com/Kim. Live a better digital life with Carbonite. All right, coming up, we have your great phone calls and we have some AI tips you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you haven't already, join a million folks who get our free newsletters by signing up right now at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. It's 5-star rated. You're just going to love it. Trust me. Again, getkim.com. All right, let's get started with phone calls, Andrew. What do you think? Alexandra in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Andrew. Thank you for recognizing my question.
You're welcome. What's going on?
I am at a precipice of writing a book, and I would like to turn it into a series with an audio book. And my concern is, how do I protect my intellectual property, such as the voices of each of the characters? And is there a voice analyzation program that I could attain, like the timbre, the harmonics, the footprint of each character, and then license that, or actually copyright or patent that?
Who does the voices currently for the characters? Is it you?
I don't have the voice for each of my characters, so I would need to start open auditions for that. And before I do that, I want to have the legality part in place, and that's where I run into a problem.
Yeah, see, and you know, we're not lawyers, can't give you legal advice at all. I mean, that's not our game. But I will tell you that, you know, you were talking about open auditions for voices. I don't know if you've ever listened to any of the AI voices, but they're phenomenal.
Understood, but AI cannot be a part of this. In the book world that I have been researching, many authors and book companies, when you tell them there's AI, they're a little shy because they don't know if it's, one, authentic.
That's
and
true.
Original.
That's true. But the AI, but the AI voices would just be voicing whatever you have written. So, but I think you would be remiss in not using artificial intelligence, at least to do a whole bunch of things, to look at the quality of the story, to look at the to see what the cadence should be, and if this is something that you could have other people. You know, you'd be like having almost a third party evaluate the viability of this book. There's a prompt called a pre-mortem. Have you ever heard about that? No. A pre-mortem. It comes from Harvard Business School. Is that you feed your idea into AI, and we have the pre-mortem quote or prompt rather on our website. So you feed your idea into AI using this pre-mortem quote, basically to say, my business has failed. This was the idea. This was what I was trying to do. So tell me what I could have done differently that would have prevented that failure. And
you don't have to be on the brink of failure. You're just doing this to see what improvements you can make, even if it's a successful business.
Before you even launch it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would do this with your particular book series, and then I'd also look at these AI voices. We use them here for commercials, things like that. You can change the cadence and all kinds of great things like that. But as long as you pay the monthly fee. But if you do want to do open auditions, and if you are looking for voices, there's an organization called Pratt. That's PRAAT.org. And just go over there, read their materials. That's where you can start looking at really getting into the legality of different voices. But if you do need a copyright attorney, that's not us.
No, absolutely.
Or you need to have somebody who actually knows what they're doing in that regard.
I wouldn't even come to us to fight a parking ticket. For that, yeah.
I think I could do a parking ticket.
I wouldn't trust me.
I put it into chat. Hey, credit breaches happen almost every single day. We've seen massive leaks. It's nuts. Billions of records exposed. I trust NordProtect to scan the dark web and monitor my credit 24/7. They'll alert you and cover up to $1 million in identity theft recovery costs. Get 66% off right now at nordprotect.com/Kim. I use Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classics, and you should too. They've got multi-point connectivity, so you can pair two devices at once, all at half the price of those big brands. You know what I'm talking about. Go to buyraycon.com/Kim and get 15% off. That's buyraycon.com/Kim. You know, I once stayed at an Airbnb that had 11 hidden cameras. 11?
Did you find them all?
Yes.
It's almost like a game, like Pokemon.
It was really easy because I was on the TV and I just scrolled up. because you can normally see some hidden cameras if you go past
all the channels.
And I saw like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, wow.
And 47% of Americans say they found a hidden camera in a rental. And so what you want to do is do a sweep. We've got all the steps on how to do a sweep. Basically, you're going to see if you see any light reflecting. But if you truly are concerned about this, you want to get a hidden camera detector.
Okay.
And they're like $30 on Amazon.
And they work?
They do work. They do work. It's looking for RF. And in case you need the best one, just head over to the website. We've got links. And just reminds me of a joke.
Can't wait to hear it.
Who is the patron saint of security cameras? Saint Francis of CCTV.
You couldn't even get it out.
I was laughing while I was doing it. That's why.
You were giggling at your own awful joke. And that's why I'm laughing. It's adorable.
Oh, thank you. All right. So she was moving her family from Texas to Spain. New baby, and she needed to sell all of her furniture. So she went on Facebook Marketplace, and it was a nightmare. And then she said, you know what, this is terrible. I need to come up with someplace else to sell all my furniture. So she's smart, and she goes, I'm just going to use AI and build another platform.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
That is weird.
I think that's fabulous. It's called Sail Away. She was featured in Business Insider. And Johanna Absug is here to tell us that it's actually something that's amazing that she's doing and how she's getting it all together by using something that's called vibe coding. Do you know what vibe coding is, Andrew?
Of course I don't.
Okay. Help us out here, Johanna. Help us out.
First of all, hello. It's lovely to be here, and I've been really enjoying the show. And I just wanted to say that, yes, Claude Code has told me to go to sleep before.
Oh, it
wow,
has?
you got one.
Good.
Yes, I am one of them.
How much time? How much time are you sitting there using it before it says go to bed?
Honestly, I don't think it has any sense of my time zone because it's happened in the middle of the day before.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so define for us vibe coding.
Vibe coding. So vibe coding, this is kind of a definition that's bothered me, right now at least, it seems like a very wide definition. There's people who have absolutely no technical or coding background doing it. And there's people who are engineers at Fortune 500 companies that are vibe coding. So vibe coding is basically using the AI and you input prompts. And from those prompts, you can get actual code. And with that code, you can build things, which is really exciting to me.
And so you used those codes to build Sail Away.
I did. Sorry, there's a cat here. Yes, I started out with ChatGTP, and I was not happy with it. And then I switched to Claude, and then I just kind of started looking at all the ways to optimize that experience. And yeah, I'm all in on Claude right now.
You know what? We're using Claude all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be, I don't know if you saw this, Johanna, but it used to be maybe a year or so ago, maybe a little bit more, where it would, 1 week Gemini would be fabulous. And then the next week Perplexity might jump in.
But no one even brought up Claude.
Yes.
It was an afterthought.
I know. It was nuts.
Yeah.
And then
Now
it just,
look out.
yeah, now it's like, whoa, I love Claude. Okay. It came up to me and it said, you're giving me $100 a month. Can you give me $200 a month? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's the only email bill I get that I go, okay, that's fine.
So now how are you competing and how is your business doing against the likes of Facebook Marketplace, where there's billions of dollars and millions invested in engineers?
Of course. Well, let me just preface this to say that I've just started out. I mean, with launching Sail Away to the public. So when I used to sell my stuff, it was more of like a personal prototype.
Okay.
And I haven't advertised it at all. So how I'm doing as competition right now is not at all.
I love that.
Yeah. But in addition to that, I don't think I'm trying to be competition. It's more about, for me, in the situation that I was in, where I was moving and I had a lot of stuff to sell and I had a deadline, Facebook Marketplace just wasn't made for that. And neither was OfferUp, and neither was any of the other platforms that I tried to use. So I don't really see it as competition, but something that's kind of a supplement to what you're already doing. And so I'm just trying to keep the bar low for myself.
The number one thing I hate about Facebook Marketplace is the scammers, where you'll put something up and within 12 seconds you get a response of someone saying they want to buy it, but first you have to send them 2 Apple gift cards because they can send you Bitcoin in exchange. Is that something that you're looking at, and do you have a way to prevent that?
Yes, well, I think I do. So that is like, aside from actually listing the items and the time it takes to do that, a big time waste, especially if you're doing a big move, is dealing with the people that want to buy your stuff.
Yeah.
And so the way that I configured, I guess, Cellular is that it's really not focused like these other platforms around the chat between the buyer and the seller. It's more like business up front and party in the back. I don't know. It's a mullet. But like it's about the buyers send their offers first, and it can be on one item, it can be on 10 items all in one. And then there's like the seller has 24 hours to respond. So it's kind of like a ping pong. And you don't actually talk with each other until you've agreed on a price.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, so it's like pretty low risk. And then, if you have items that the buyers want more information about, they can ask questions about it, but that's not part of your like main inbox of information. So it's really easy to kind of get to where you need to be.
So how many hours do you think you have invested in this?
Oh boy.
Lots.
I don't know.
Sounds like it might be 2 or 3, Kim.
Just a couple. No, I started, so the personal prototype, I put a lot of hours in on its own. But as far as like when I really hit the ground running using Claude Code, I've been working on it for maybe 5 months now.
Now, do you have a programming background?
No, I don't have a programming background. However, I'm a designer, and I've worked with startups basically for the past 15 years. So I have a like insight into that world and how horrible it can be.
Yeah, it can be.
And brutal.
Yes.
And so I have those expectations kind of in the back of my head all along. But it really is just about me loving building things and coming up with solutions. And because this was a solution for me that worked, I actually sold stuff from it. It's something that I really wanted to share with other people. I love your story. I think it's so amazing that thank you.
That you took a design background, not knowing. I thought you had a little bit of programming experience, but not having any makes it even more remarkable. That just get in there and build what you need, and which think about the great equalizer. Without AI, you would not have been able to do this. Well, you could have if you really wanted to, right? But
it would have taken years.
Yeah, it would have taken years. And then of course what happened, which doesn't always happen, which is not happening right now, is that when you would actually program something to have it work on Apple or on Windows, is that they would change the OS. I know this because we used to develop software. They changed the OS, and then all of a sudden your phone's ringing like, it doesn't work anymore, Komando. And I'm like, oh, no, you people at Microsoft, I hate you.
Back to the drawing board.
I hate that. So if you are sitting there thinking like, I wish I had something that would do X, Y, or Z, start looking into vibe coding. And we actually have a tool, not Claude, another tool that we're going to be talking about in our next AI newsletter coming out this Thursday, splashofai.com. And we always have a tool of the week. This tool is specifically made for you to do vibe coding. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure that you sign up right now. That's splashofai.com. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. Let me tell you, I have tried so many antivirus software programs over the years, and when something better comes along, I just switch. That's why I've moved to WebRoot Essentials. Now, WebRoot Essentials is a cloud-based AI-powered antivirus platform that was designed to evolve with today's threats. It's fast, lightweight protection that works across all my devices, It doesn't slow me down. Now, if you need another reason to switch from what you're using, listen to this. WebRoot Essentials recently ranked #1 in the independent Passmark performance study against 9 other brands. We're talking names like Norton, McAfee, even Microsoft Defender. The study found that WebRoot Essentials scans 6 times faster, uses far less memory, and takes up to 33% less space on your computer. I've seen the difference WebRoot Essentials has made for my devices, and now you can too. My listeners and viewers, you get 62% off WebRoot Essentials by going to webroot.com/Kim. And so get the #1 ranked antivirus protection for only $19 a year at webroot.com/Kim. That's webroot.com/Kim. Do you sit in a lot of meetings?
No. Well, maybe 2 meetings a week.
Yeah, I hate meetings.
I don't know why you people do them.
I can't stand it. I mean, at the end of the meeting, you have like 11 different versions of something, and then somebody says, I think we're all aligned. Not a problem.
My buddy, who works for a financial company, has a meeting every single day with his entire team. And prior to that, he meets with a subset of that team so they can get ready for the meeting.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, I would just walk right off a bridge.
So if you have a meeting, the next time, make sure that you actually, before the meeting, have a transcript. And if you want to be polite, you can tell everybody in the meeting, I'm going to be taking a transcript of the meeting. But I think it's pretty much assumed right now that if you're in a meeting, somebody's doing a transcript. And then there's this prompt that you want to use with GPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, or whatever your company allows. Turn the following meeting transcript into a decision memo for the team. Don't invent decisions. If something's unclear, label it as unresolved. Format the memo with sections. Suggest a follow-up message I can send to the team. Say what information's missing, and use plain language and be direct. And then you send that out to the team, and then the team will sit there and go, whoa, Kim just wrote us this long memo.
She actually paid attention during that meeting.
And normally it's like 3 sentences. Bob, do this.
I was shopping on Amazon.
The whole time. Do you know Jeff Bezos' rule about meetings?
I don't.
2 pizzas. If you cannot feed the team with 2 pizzas, you have too many people in that meeting.
That's an interesting... do they actually feed them the pizza? Or it's just a barometer?
It's just a barometer.
Darn it.
No pizza there. Hey, listen, there's a new trend online, Nana Maxing. Have you heard about that?
Well, I vibe code Nana Maxing all the time. It's pretty much the bomb.
Stay right where you are. Hey, if you want to glow from the inside out and get your natural radiance back with Native Path Collagen, some studies suggest collagen supplements may support bone health, tissue recovery, and overall skin and hair wellness. And right now, you can try Native Path Collagen for just a fraction of the retail price by going to getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
Her name is Danielle Crittenden.
Okay.
She's been a journalist for 30 years. Writing is in the family. Her husband is Atlantic writer David Frum. He's really a great writer, too. They reported on politics and culture, full range of American life. But on February 16th, 2024, her 32-year-old daughter, Miranda, was found dead in her Brooklyn apartment. Medical situation, medical complication. And so, being a distraught mother, obviously, she wrote a memoir, Dispatches from Grief, A Mother's Journey Through the Unthinkable. She joins us today to talk about loss and love and something that nobody warned her about, the way that her daughter's devices keep pinging even though she's gone. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you so much for having me.
Number one, so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And I assume that writing this was part of the grieving process, right?
I don't know. As you said, I come from a family of journalists, and I was trained originally as a reporter. And I found it was not so much part of the grieving process, but as a writer, something I needed to cover, if that makes sense.
No, I can see that.
I just began writing notes about, almost like a foreign correspondent from the land of grief, just it was so painful and so strange, and our life had been so destroyed and upended. I just started taking down notes as I would for a news story, and eventually those notes
became the
got
book.
Cobbled into a book. Yeah.
So I talked a little bit just about your daughter's devices.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, one of the things, I mean, there are so many aspects of grief that you don't expect. And when you lose a child, it's probably the worst kind of grief you can experience. But, you know, when people used to die, their possessions were fairly physical. You know, they had left files of notes and letters. You had their clothes to deal with, their furniture, whatever, their possessions. But what we found with our daughter, and I'm sure many other, in fact, I know many other people have been in this situation because I get emails from them, that your digital life extends beyond your actual life. And so one of the first problems we had with Miranda's situation was because we didn't know her passwords, and believe me, we tried every conceivable one we could think of. We were not allowed by law to open her iPhone, open her computer, and we had to go seek court orders against Apple and you know, AT&T, just to get access. And even then, they allowed and Google as well, and each one required a separate type of court order. And in the end, Google allowed us access to her photos and just the subject lines of her emails. And AT&T wouldn't open the phone, and Apple wouldn't open the phone. So that's one aspect of it that's very dispiriting. I mean, to be treated like, you know, a hacker, a grieving mother and father to be treated
were
like
you
hackers.
Were you looking for something in particular, Danielle?
No, you just, I mean, it wasn't about snooping. It was wanting, just, she was a writer, you know, we wanted access, of course, to her photos, but just to her writings, to people that needed maybe even to know. You know, her Instagram account is still as if she is alive. I haven't been able to access that to close it. And then there's just this, what I call digital haunting, or even digital IEDs, because, you know, there are a lot of triggers in grief. And right after she died, for example, after her funeral, I went to the supermarket and I started walking down the aisles of the supermarket, and I started seeing things I would buy for her when she would come home and visit. And I freaked out. I just
for sure
left my cart where it was, and I ran out of the supermarket. And it took me a long time to be able to go back in a supermarket. But these digital IEDs just really come out of nowhere. Maybe we should call them drones. I don't know what to call them. But you're just like, you open your phone, and there is, in your face, Facebook cheerfully curating a carousel of photos of great times with Miranda. Do you remember where you were in 2018?
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
And I tell you, you just drop to your knees. I mean, even when you think, I'm doing okay. My car keeps asking to connect to Miranda's iPhone. Of course, she stays in my list of favorites on, you know, on my on our like Netflix accounts, on my phone, and those are ones that I could disable, but then I have to go through this active step to remove her, and I guess I'll be ready one day, but I'm not really ready. So you're just surrounded and surprised by these, you know, digital age triggers that just, you know, pile on to the already bad enough grief.
This is one that you might not even think of, and that may not ever happen to you. But my mother passed away, and I saved her phone number as Mom's Cell in my phone, like it always has been. And one Saturday, I'm just sitting on the couch, and I get a phone call from Mom's Cell, and the roller coaster of emotions that happens so fast, where you're like, what the heck? Why is my mom calling me? She's no longer with us. to the rational brain kicking in and going, they gave her phone number to somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's probably a scammer that wants to get you a car warranty. And then I was put in a place to where I sat back and thought about all the phone calls I had with my mom. And it was just this crazy roller coaster of emotions, all triggered by the fact that I didn't delete her phone number from my phone book.
But Danielle, and you're right, Andrew. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, I was in my email yesterday. It was yesterday, yeah. And I have a folder of mom, and my mom passed away. And I sat there and I started reading her emails to me, and I'm like, I can't do this.
It's hard.
Right.
I can't do this.
Yeah, they'll pop up. You're right. I didn't even mention texts and emails, and I know they're there, and I would never obviously delete them. But sometimes when you do a random search for something,
right,
exactly,
it's happened to me so many times.
Yeah, they come up, and it's just wow. There's her voice. She's alive again. Cue bawling your eyes out.
Of course, yeah. Do you think it helps with the grieving process?
What?
To have all these constant reminders, or?
No.
I don't think so.
Not at all.
She did not sit on the fence with that one.
No, because there's the psalm that says, "I have to walk through the valley of shadow of death." Okay, you can't go around it. You're not able to jump over it. You have to go through this process.
Right.
And but then you get to the other side, but then again you have all these constant reminders,
Well, it's also like with her clothes, for example, and some of her possessions. I kept them in a box for a year and a half. She died 2 years ago. And then my wonderful younger daughter and I and my daughter-in-law, we just bit the bullet, took an afternoon, went through them, and it turned out to be kind of beautiful, and we pulled out outfits and remembered them and laughed at some of them. But we had control over that. We had control.
That's a good
when
point.
we were going to deal with that box. And this is the thing. I mean, I do have control over my car connection, and that's just me not wanting to make yet that conscious act of erasure, although it does startle me because it just appears. But we don't have control, and we're not permitted control over these digital IEDs. And that's what's upsetting, because they just hit you. Even when you think you're having a good day, time has passed, you think you're doing well, and then you get one of these. And it's just wrenching.
Is there a solution?
No, I mean, not that I can figure out with Facebook.
No.
I think it would be, in terms of like solutions for access of parents, next of kin. My husband was the executor of her will, that there should be some kind of legal access to their devices. And I think, whether that's something a bill you pass or how you go about doing that, I don't know, but I think that would be very helpful.
See, it was years ago that, and Andrew, I don't know if you remember this, years ago that a father called me because his son was killed in a conflict, I think in Afghanistan. And he wanted access to his son's email on Yahoo. And Yahoo said, no, because your son was over 21, an adult.
Yeah.
And you cannot have access to it.
But what's crazy is, like she mentioned before, if those letters and emails were in written form and sitting in a box,
you'd have them.
You'd 100% own them.
Right. They're physical. And I get it. Look, especially a 32-year-old woman doesn't necessarily want her mom, snooping around. But, one of the things, because she died so suddenly, and this is what, AT&T would consider probably pointless and, prurient snooping. When she died, I would like to know if she tried to get help? Did she try call 911?
For sure.
And what is that going to do? Nothing. It's not going to bring her back. It's not going to make her less dead. It's not something. I mean, if I did see she tried, maybe that would be worse for me to know, because then it would have shown some awareness that something was wrong in a way that, from what I understand, it was very sudden. So, but at least I would know whether I want to know that or not. Like, at least I would have the choice.
The choice.
And ability to look. So now I have her computer, her laptop, I have her phone, and they're just sitting on my shelf like these, tombs that are inaccessible, and it's upsetting.
Well, thank you for coming on. Mm-hmm. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, I appreciate it.
I mean,
I'm sorry it's such a sad subject.
Oh, no. I know, Danielle, don't feel that way. It's reality, and it's something that all of us deal with. And the reason why I really wanted you to spend some time with us is to let people who are watching, people who are listening, that they're not alone.
Right.
And when this happens to them, that grief is this ebb and flow. Some days are good, some days are bad. And then we have these constant reminders. I recently took my mom out of my phone, and that was hard.
Wow.
That was hard.
My mom died like 7 years ago. She's still in there.
Oh, I was looking at it because every time I looked at favorites, I saw her, and I was like, oh,
I know. Yeah.
It's just tough.
Whatever you need to get through.
In case you want to take a look at Danielle's book, her name is Danielle Crittenden, and the title is Dispatches from Grief, A Mother's Journey Through the Unthinkable, and I'm sure it's available everywhere. I know this probably doesn't surprise you, but my grandmother used to make dandelion wine.
What?
Yeah, she used to get dandelions from the yard and make wine out of it.
Was it any good?
I made it as an adult, and it was pretty disgusting. But she liked it.
It sounds gross.
Of course. But there's a trend now. It's called nanomaxing. It's happening on social media where you are living like your grandma. So you're like making pasta and sauces and, washing your clothes. And is there anything that your grandmother did that you would do?
So this means every time I eat, I have to take out my teeth and put them on the side table? It's going to be weird, but I'll try it.
That's nanomaxing. Exactly. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure that you sign up for our free newsletter over at getkim.com. It's 5-star rated. Let me tell you, it's amazing. That's right. Sign up right now over at getkim.com. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening.